Hi, Mama. Are you ready to become a more intentional wife and a more intentional mom? Welcome back to Married Moms Take Control. My name is Nevart Willborn. I'm your host, and I am a licensed professional counselor and a marriage coach for moms. Today, we're going to dive into how to be more intentional and what you can do to have really impactful interactions with your children, with your husband, to help you improve your relationships with them. So last week, if you joined me, and if you didn't, please go back and listen, but I set the tone for what it means to be intentional and why it's so important for us as women, as moms, as wives, to be intentional in our lives. And I talked about how when we choose to be intentional and make decisions that really support the goals that we want, we're more likely to be successful in achieving those goals. Because just like with anything in life, if we don't really focus on what we are trying to do and we don't set specific steps to help us achieve our goals, then our goals may not be able to be achieved. Because whether you're trying to lose weight, eat healthy, plan to save money for something, you have to have a plan. You have to have steps in place to help you achieve that goal. And the same thing applies to our relationships. And that's what I talked about last week, about how important it is for us, if we really want to have better relationships with our significant others, our children, we have to be intentional with what we are doing to achieve those goals and those better relationships. So today we're going to talk about 3 simple ways for you to actually implement steps to become more intentional. So these are super easy to apply. You don't have a ton of time. So I am going to give you really simple ways to make this a part of your day and a part of your life. So step Number 1, I want you to prioritize one daily connection with your husband and one daily connection with your child. If you have multiple children, then you're choosing a connection for each of your kids. And these aren't big things. This isn't go out to dinner and spend hours doing something. It's, with your husband, it could be make a decision that every day you're going to ask him how his day was, or maybe every day you are going to send him a text message at 11 o'clock. Maybe you'll set a reminder in your phone for 11 a.m. every day to send him a text and say, thinking about you, I hope your day is going well. Okay. With your kid, it could just be making it a decision to go and see what they're doing. If they're in their room all day, if you have some teenagers, pop your head in there, ask what they're playing on their video games, or ask what books they're reading, or ask them what's going on with their friends, or maybe say, hey, why don't you come out here and let's cook together, or go give your kid a hug. It doesn't have to be anything big, right? So whatever it is, your kid, and you may have to have separate connection points with each one of your kids, like different ones, because your kids might be at different ages, different interests, things like that. But again, super small. It could be, I'm going to sit and play this game with my kid for 5 minutes, play a round of Uno, or just pet the dog with my child, whatever. Okay. So pick one thing, prioritize one daily connection with your husband and with your kids. These small acts really build consistency, and they show care even when you're really busy, right? When you make it a point to walk over to your husband and give him a hug, to when you hear him maybe come home from work, or if you're coming home from work and he's home, intentionally walk over to him. Instead of just saying, hi, I'm home, walk over to him, give him a hug. Same with your kids. That could be your daily point of connection. If you don't already do that, that could be a great thing that you decide every day when I get home. I'm going to walk over to each of my family members in my house, and I'm going to give them a 10-second hug each. And I'm just going to hold them for 10 seconds each. And then I'm going to move on and go get, put my stuff down, whatever. But deciding to do this every day builds consistency. And if you are so busy or you're just overwhelmed and you don't know how to build these things in, just by remembering, be intentional, set an alarm, set a reminder on your phone. If you know that you're walking in the door from work, or you're, gonna do this thing with your kid every day at a certain time, or you want to do this thing at a certain time every day, put that in your phone. If you don't have a good app on your phone for reminders, download one. Use the Google Calendar. That's what I use. It has task options. It pops up for me just like a text message would, and it stays there until I dismiss it. So when there are things that I want to be intentional about, whether it's an interaction with a member of my family, or remember to give the dog their medicine every other day or whatever, that's on a reminder on my phone, because I am not going to sit here and try to remember off the top of my mind everything that I need to do. It's impossible. I am a very, very busy person. So if you want something to be important to you, or you decide it's important to you and you want to do it, saying it's important, wanting to do it is not enough. Put it to a reminder. And that consistency, that creates that good habit, that creates the intentionality that if you do it every day, give a hug, send a text, whatever, every day, that builds connection, right? How familiar are you with the games that your kids play on their phones, who they're talking to online? All you have to do is say, hey, how's it going with your friends these days? What's the drama? Tell me. Who's mad at who? Who's dating who? Right? Or what's your favorite character on this show that you're watching? Why do you like that dog that you keep looking at on YouTube? Whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. If there's something that they spend their time doing, that means they're interested in it. Showing interest yourself by asking them about it, that builds connection. Have them teach you how to play their game. Have them teach you how to, or tell you about the things that they're interested in. Now you've jumped into their world and you've connected with them. Okay, super, super easy. That is tip number 1. Prioritize one daily connection with your husband and with your children. Okay, tip number 2 is set clear boundaries. If something is going to get in the way of you doing this thing that you've decided to do, like maybe you've decided that every night after dinner, you're going to sit with your kid for 5 minutes and play a game with them, then what do you have to do to support that? Do you need to put your phone on Do Not Disturb? Do you need to put your phone up on the counter? Do you need to leave your phone in the other room? Do you need to tell your other children that you are going to spend 5 minutes with each of them and they're going to be patiently waiting? So the child that I'm going to spend 5 minutes with right now gets to sit in this room with me, but the other 2 or other 1, whatever, get to go in the other room and play a different game, and then we're going to take turns. Maybe you need to find a way, if you're trying to implement something with your husband, maybe you need to tell him, hey, can we make a point every night before bed to just kind of do a quick rundown of like what the day was like with the kids? Or can we do a check-in every night about the schedule for tomorrow? Or I really want to hear about your day, and it's easier if we do it when the kids aren't around. Can we do it like after the kids go to bed? Can we just like sit on the couch for 5 minutes and I'll like vent to you about my day, and then you vent to me about your day, and then we move on, right? Make a decision, but set those boundaries to support that you're going to do that. Maybe you want to decide that instead of everyone eating dinner at a different time because everyone's doing something like, hanging out, playing video games, whatever, maybe you want to decide that we're going to eat dinner together every night. It's going to be 15 minutes. It's not going to be long, and we're not going to look at our phones. Or maybe we're going to do where you have maybe a more consistent time that you yourself want to do something with your kids. So you have to stop something that you are going to do. Maybe you want to go to bed earlier so you can wake up and hang out with your kid before school starts or whatever. You have to just put things in place to support whatever that connection is that you want to do. Okay. So that is tip number 2, set clear boundaries. Step number 3 is reflect weekly on your goals. So what this means is I really, really want you to set 5 minutes, or maybe put a reminder on your phone every Sunday that says, what do I want to do to connect with my kid? What do I want to do to connect with my husband this week? Okay. All that's prompting you to do is there something I want to do different? Maybe your goal is I want to yell at the kids less this week, or I want to be more patient, or I want to help my husband. Maybe my husband has a really, really stressful project this week at work, and he needs me to take something off of his plate. What am I going to do about that? Or maybe I have a really stressful project at work this week, and I need to communicate to my husband that I need him to take this thing off of my plate. That is being intentional. That is setting a time for yourself at the beginning of the week to really, really anticipate what will help you get the support that you need, give the support that you need, and make the connections that you want to make so that you can improve the relationships that you have with those very, very important people in your life. Maybe you see when you look at your, maybe part of that routine on Sundays is, let me look at the calendar and let me ask myself, what do I want to do to connect with my kids this week? And what do I want to do to connect with my husband this week? So by looking at the calendar, you might see, hey, this kiddo has a game I need to drop him off at, but that gives me time with the other kid. Maybe I'll take the other kid out. Maybe we'll go shopping, or we'll go have lunch, or maybe we'll just come home and play a game. Like, that is really looking at your week and looking for opportunities to connect a little bit more intentionally than just, oh, well, we're running around. Oh man, that could have been a good time, but I didn't think about it, So really, really trying to look at your schedule. This doesn't have to take more than 5 minutes. Seriously, look at your schedule, decide. Probably hear my dryer is done right now, by the way. Look at your schedule and try to find ways for you to be intentional in your schedule, to insert a minute here, 5 minutes here, to do things that really, really would help you achieve your goals of connecting and being more intentional. Okay, so that's it. Those are your 3 tips. They're super, super easy, and they're quick to implement, and they're going to fit naturally into your world because you are going to look at your schedule and find moments to achieve these things. So let's go through them again. There are 3 ways to be intentional. 1, prioritize 1 daily connection with your husband and 1 daily connection with your children. 2, set clear boundaries. And 3, reflect weekly to help you be more intentional. Okay, so these are super simple. I hope that you will prioritize this for yourself. There are lots and lots of ways that you can also apply this to yourself, your self-care. Maybe you want to insert in there a way for you to exercise, to hang out with a friend, to whatever, get into a hobby that you want to do. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to being intentional, which means planning ahead. All right, ladies, I hope that was helpful to you. I hope you have a wonderful week. If you haven't already, please join my Facebook group. It is called Married Moms Take Control, and I look forward to seeing you there. All right, bye.